There was a time when grocery shopping meant something. Your mother had her store, the one where the butcher knew her order, where she saved loyalty stamps in a kitchen drawer, where the smell of fresh bread hit you at the door. Before self-checkouts and corporate mergers flattened everything into sameness, Canada had dozens of supermarket chains, names on shopping bags, jingles you still remember, aisles that felt like home. Most of them are gone now, bought out, rebranded, or erased. But for those who remember, they're still there. Every Saturday morning, every checkout line, every cart pushed down those wide, familiar aisles. Toronto, 1919. Dominion opened its doors and quickly became the supermarket. Green and cream decor, bright, airy stores. The kind of place your grandmother took you on Saturday mornings. By the 1950s and 60s, Dominion was everywhere. Ontario, the Maritimes, anchoring suburban plazas from Thunder Bay to Halifax. It wasn't just a store, it was the store. The place where families shopped, where kids begged for candy at checkout, where moms collected loyalty stamps in little booklets. Those stamps, God, those stamps. You'd paste them into books, save up, and trade them in for dishes, toasters, even toys. It was a ritual, a reward for being loyal. Dominion had its own bakery, fresh bread every morning. The smell hit you the second you walked in. They had butchers who knew your order, cashiers who remembered your name, and those paper grocery bags with the Dominion logo, they were everywhere. Packed lunches, book covers, kindling, they were part of the household. But by the 1980s, cracks appeared. Dominion's parent company, Argus Corporation, started selling off the best stores to competitors. What was left got absorbed by A&P, then Metro. The name hung on for a while, but it wasn't the same. By the early 2000s, Dominion was gone. Today, older Canadians still remember it. The show of 1,000 bargains, the jingles, the feeling of pushing a metal cart down those wide aisles. Dominion wasn't just where you bought groceries, it was where you grew up. Montreal, 1917, a small grocery in the Jewish Quarter. That's where STEINBERG'S started. But it didn't stay small. By mid-century, STEINBERG'S was Quebec's grocery king. Bright fluorescent lights, bilingual signage. Je fais mon Steinberg became part of the language. Doing your STEINBERG'S wasn't just shopping, it was identity. The stores were clean, modern, and everywhere. You'd find them in Montreal neighborhoods, suburban plazas, small towns across Quebec. The butcher counter was always busy. The house brand products, Steinberg Cola, Steinberg cookies, were staples. And that jingle. If you grew up in Quebec, you know it. You can probably still hum it. But ambition turned into overreach. STEINBERG'S expanded into Ontario under the Miracle Food Mart banner. It was too much, too fast. Family feuds didn't help. By the late 1980s, the company was struggling. Debt piled up. Competitors circled. In 1992, STEINBERG'S declared bankruptcy. The stores closed. The signs came down. The brand, so deeply woven into Quebec culture, vanished almost overnight. For older Quebecers, STEINBERG'S isn't just a memory, it's a piece of home. The place where your parents shopped, where you picked up milk after school, where Saturday mornings meant fresh bread and wandering the aisles. Je fais mon Steinberg isn't just a slogan, it's a time capsule. And when STEINBERG'S disappeared, a little piece of Quebec disappeared with it. The Great Atlantic and Pacific Tea Company, A&P. The American giant crossed the border in 1927 and set up shop in Toronto. For decades, A&P was a fixture. Red oval logo, pastel aisles, that faint organ muzak playing overhead. You'd walk in and smell fresh donuts from the bakery, hear the grinder churning out 8 o'clock coffee. A&P wasn't flashy, it was dependable. Your mom shopped there. Maybe you got your first job there, stocking shelves or bagging groceries after school. The chain grew massive. It absorbed other banners, Dominion, Miracle Food Mart, Food Basics. By the 1990s, A&P Canada was operating hundreds of stores across Ontario and Quebec. But the parent company in the US was bleeding money. Competition from Loblaws, Sobeys, and Walmart was fierce. A&P couldn't keep up. In 2005, Metro Inc. bought the whole operation. Over the next few years, every A&P store was rebranded. The red oval disappeared. The name faded. By 2009, A&P Canada was gone. Today, people remember the paper punch cards, the smell of coffee beans grinding, the bakery section with its rows of glazed donuts. A&P wasn't fancy, but it was yours. It was the corner store scaled up. And when it vanished, it took a piece of suburban Canadian life with it. Ontario, 1969, Steinberg's bought Grand Union stores and rebranded them as Miracle Food Mart. The pitch was simple: everyday low prices, no gimmicks, no flashy ads. And it worked. Miracle Food Mart stores were clean, wide-aisled, no frills. There was even a consumer bill of rights posted at the entrance, a promise that you'd get a fair deal. Some locations became Ultramart, open 24 hours with in-store pharmacies. They were ahead of their time. Shoppers loved the miracle discount pricing events. You'd fill your cart, grab one of those colorful nutrition booklets the chain handed out, and leave feeling like you'd won. The stores weren't fancy, but they didn't need to be. Miracle Food Mart was about value, about feeding your family without breaking the bank. But in 1989, Steinberg's sold the chain to A&P. A&P already had its own stores, and Miracle Food Mart didn't fit. One by one, the stores were rebranded or closed. By the late 1990s, Miracle Food Mart was gone. Today, it's remembered for those 1970s discount jingles and that consumer-first attitude. It was the store where you didn't feel ripped off, where you could shop at 2 a.m. if you needed to, where value wasn't just a slogan, it was the whole point. Miracle Food Mart didn't survive, but it left a mark. And for people who shopped there, the memory of pushing a cart down those wide aisles under fluorescent lights, that's still vivid. Ottawa, 1912. Moses LOEB opened a small grocery. It wasn't fancy, but it was honest. That grocery grew. By mid-century, LOEB was the supermarket across eastern Ontario and western Quebec. Bright basket logos on every storefront, friendly butcher counters, and LOEB Bear, the mascot kids loved. Shopping at LOEB felt personal. The butcher knew your family, the baker handed your kids free cookies. You weren't just a customer, you were a neighbor. LOEB's own brand products were everywhere. LOEB bread, LOEB deli meats. People trusted them. They tasted like home. The stores sponsored Little League teams, community events. LOEB wasn't just selling groceries, it was part of the fabric of the towns it served. But in 1999, parent company Provigo sold LOEB to Metro Richelieu. Metro had its own plans. Over the next decade, every LOEB store was rebranded. The basket logo came down, the LOEB Bear retired. By 2008, LOEB was gone. Today, people in Ottawa and the Valley still talk about it. Saturday shopping trips, free cookies at the bakery counter, that feeling of walking into a store that felt like it belonged to the community. LOEB didn't just disappear, it left a hole. The kind you notice every time you walk into a generic Metro and remember when grocery shopping felt warmer. Ontario, early 1990s, the Oshawa Group launched Price Chopper as a bare-bones discount chain. Concrete floors, fluorescent lights, cardboard signs announcing weekly specials. It wasn't pretty, but it was cheap. Price Chopper served working-class neighborhoods, places where every dollar mattered. You'd bag your own groceries, load up on bulk staples, get in, get out, stretch your paycheck a little further. The stores were simple, no frills, literally. No Frills was one of the competitors eating into Price Chopper's market share. Food Basics was another. The competition was brutal. Price Chopper's private label selection was thin. Margins were tight, and shoppers had options, cheaper options. By the late 2000s, Sobeys, which had bought the Oshawa Group, decided Price Chopper wasn't worth keeping. Starting in 2010, every store was rebranded as Freshco. Price Chopper was gone. Today, it's remembered by people who shopped there in the 90s and early 2000s, the era of extreme couponing, of clipping every deal, watching every penny. Price Chopper wasn't glamorous, but it was real. For families on tight budgets, it was a lifeline, a place where you could fill a cart without fear, where bagging your own groceries wasn't inconvenient. It was the deal you made to save $5. Price Chopper didn't survive, but it served its purpose. And for the people who needed it, it mattered. Vancouver, 1950s. WOODWARD'S wasn't just a department store, it had a food floor. And that food floor was something special. Downtown Vancouver, Western Canada, Woodward's food floors were part of the shopping experience. You'd browse clothes upstairs, then head down to grab groceries before heading home. But the real magic? The grocery parcel depot. Your groceries would glide overhead on a conveyor system, baskets suspended on tracks, moving from checkout to a pickup area. You'd collect your parcels at the loading dock, pop your trunk, and drive off. It was futuristic, it was efficient, it was Woodward's. And then there was $1.49 day. Every month, the store would run massive sales. The jingle played on the radio, in your head, everywhere. $1.49 day. People lined up for bargain bananas, discounted bread, cases of canned goods. Woodward's food floor wasn't just shopping, it was theater. But in 1992, Woodward's filed for bankruptcy. The department stores closed. Safeway bought most of the food floors and converted them. Some became IGA. The conveyors stopped. The jingle faded. The food floor was gone. Today, West Coast shoppers, especially older ones, still remember watching groceries glide overhead, lining up on sale days, that jingle that won't leave your brain. Woodward's food floor was a piece of Vancouver, and when it disappeared, the city lost a little bit of its character. Toronto, 1953. Steve Stavro started with a produce stall. By the end of the decade, he'd built Nob Hill Farms into a GTA institution. These weren't normal supermarkets, they were food terminals. Massive warehouse stores with concrete floors, cardboard bins, and giant scales for weighing fruit. No scanners, no fancy displays, just bulk goods, low prices, and a no-nonsense attitude. You'd fill a cardboard basket, not a cart, a basket, with flour scooped from bins, potatoes by the sack, produce weighed on enormous scales. At checkout, they'd hand you wooden tokens instead of plastic bags. It was raw. It was real. And for families trying to stretch $1, it was perfect. Saturday mornings at Nob Hill Farms were a ritual. Parents would pack the kids into the car and stock up for the week. The stores were loud, crowded, chaotic, but you left with a trunk full of groceries and money still in your pocket. By the late 1990s, though, Nob Hill couldn't modernize fast enough. Competition from slicker chains with loyalty programs and self-checkouts was fierce. Stavro couldn't keep up. In 2001, he closed all 10 locations. Nob Hill Farms was gone. Today, older Torontonians remember those Saturday trips. The smell of fresh produce, the sound of wooden tokens clinking, the warehouse vibe that made grocery shopping feel like an adventure. Nob Hill Farms didn't survive the 21st century, but it defined an era. And for people who shop there, it's a memory that won't fade. New Westminster, 1915. Robert Bonner had a simple idea: sell 18 ounces of tea for the price of 16. Overweight tea, OVERWAITEA. That little gimmick turned into a grocery empire. OVERWAITEA foods spread across British Columbia, especially in the interior, small towns, quiet communities. Places where the local OVERWAITEA was more than a store. It was a gathering spot. The stores were friendly, staff knew your name, they'd carry groceries to your car. Handwritten price cards lined the shelves. On weekends, you could sample Western family products, OVERWAITEA's private label, right there in the aisles. It wasn't flashy, but it was dependable. And in BC's smaller towns, OVERWAITEA was part of the social fabric. But consolidation was inevitable. The parent company, now operating Save on Foods, decided to unify the banners. Starting in the 2010s, OVERWAITEA stores were converted one by one. By 2018, the last OVERWAITEA was rebranded. The name was gone. Today, people in places like Kamloops, Vernon, and Prince George remember OVERWAITEA fondly. It was their store, the place where shopping felt personal, where staff treated you like family. OVERWAITEA didn't fail, it was absorbed, but for the people who shopped there, losing the name felt like losing a piece of home. Ontario, 1960s. The Oshawa Group launched Food City to complement its IGA franchises. Mid-sized stores, pastel signage, mid-century fonts that screamed optimism. Food City had in-store bakeries, butcher counters, and S&H green stamps. Those little stamps you'd collect, paste into booklets, and trade for prizes. Kids loved them, parents hoarded them. There was also penny candy, rows of it. You'd walk in with a nickel and leave with a paper bag full of sugar. Food City wasn't fancy, but it was comfortable. The kind of place where moms pushed metal carts under humming fluorescent lights, where the checkers knew your face, where shopping felt routine and safe. But competition was brutal. Bigger chains with better prices squeezed Food City out. By the 1990s, stores were being rebranded as Price Chopper. Later, Fresh CO Food City quietly disappeared. Today, boomers remember it. The green stamps, the penny candy, the low hum of those lights. Food City wasn't groundbreaking, but it was theirs. It represented a simpler time, when grocery stores were neighborhood fixtures, when shopping was slow, deliberate, social. Food City didn't survive the modern era, but it left a mark. And for people who remember pushing those metal carts, the memory is still vivid, still warm. 10 supermarkets, 10 names that once meant everything. They fed families, employed communities, anchored neighborhoods. And then they were gone, bought, rebranded, erased. If you remember any of these names, hit like and subscribe for more Canadian memories that time forgot.